Ready Check Radio. What's up, Internet? Welcome to Snowbound, Ready Check Radio's Blizzard podcast. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Time for a show. We've all done our lines. It's time to go. Yes. Feeling good. Let's do it. We're going to talk about World of Warcraft and some Overwatch 2. Yes, there actually is Overwatch 2 news today, hidden card backs, and so much more. Let's see if my co-hosts are as skied up as I am. If you are watching, I'm not really skied up, people. It's a freaking joke. It's a joke. But if you're listening to this over on Spotify or watching on YouTube, head on over to the website right there, readycheckradio.com, RAIDEO.com. All the socials are in the upper right-hand corner. Give them a follow, give them a subscribe, put on those notifications. Really helps us out. Much appreciated. Tell a friend. Make sure you head on over to twitch.tv/readycheckradio and join us live sometime. We got chat here already typing. They're ready to go. Let's see if the co-hosts are ready to go. First up, Mr. Dom Greco, a.k.a. Xizta, out of center on his shot because he loves the Dark Portal. So please do not comment that I didn't know how to frame the shot. It's the pink hat that just will not be framed.
Yeah, how's it going?
Good, how are you? You got
Pretty
Phoenix
good.
envy. Solve the mysteries of the Phoenix in Hearthstone. Awarded a Phoenix card back.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, and we'll go into it a bit later. But yeah, I had a lot of fun doing that.
Chat, you're right. The hat just will not be centered. The hat does what the hat wants. Also on the line here, the Bloodsail Buccaneer herself, Ms. Angela Mercurio, a.k.a. Indy. What's up?
I'm not Xizta.
We figured that out pre-show. You
almost went there.
That you
I'm
are
not.
not.
See, I'm not off center.
You are not. You have
Okay.
an expertly framed shot on both of our parts.
Like some people that need two hats and a jagged off-centered.
And has such a
situation.
fragile ego, he needs to give himself an achievement every week.
Right?
Just to get him.
I wonder if I can one-up his achievement next week. That's going to be on the agenda. You just wait.
She's off center a little bit on purpose because she's got Kitty over there. Kitty.
We do have Kitty.
At least the cat isn't mauling you today. That's for sure.
Yeah, she's
Last
not in the
week
mood.
you were being eaten by a tiger.
Well, probably because I figured out that if I feed her before the show, then she'll be sleepy and like not. You know what I mean?
Kind of like me. Yeah, I don't eat before the show because then I'm just, sleepy. I snort 7 lines. I don't really do that.
Full of energy today.
I don't really do that. Say no to drugs. Say no to drugs. Anyway, let's talk about some Blizzard shit. Speaking of white powdery substances, it's gonna be a good.
Reminds me of that meme with the cat.
Oh,
it's like
you're a
so
meme.
much cocaine.
Join us next
in the
week.
snow. You know, the cat in the snow.
Or in Family
Next
Guy
week
when
we'll
the Cheetos dude is just snorting the Cheetos.
Guys, next week we'll be broadcasting straight from the mall because that's where Mike Burns being sent for all these jokes.
I just came back from the mall.
Oh, I thought you said the
chicken
mall.
teriyaki.
Like I had to go to like one of those
The
survey
mall.
people at the mall. MALL.
Jailers Mall.
The mall.
The place where
Yeah.
actually
I heard the
inside-
mall as well.
inside Torghast. How about that? That's even worse for Mike.
No show next week. If it has to be in Torghast. Yeah. Quick programming note, by the way, there is no Gaming Gumbo this Saturday. There are multiple people involved in Saturday's shows that are getting their second COVID vaccine on Friday and on Saturday. We don't expect anything, but some people have side effects and figured, you know what, let's just, instead of canceling an hour ahead of time, let's just cancel it and let that one ride. So we will have the normal.
I got mine last Friday, and
Yeah.
I was knocked out. It was nap time. Like I didn't get sick.
Yeah.
I just very sleepy.
But
Yep.
guys, it's important to remember side effects are normal.
Yep.
Side effects are good. It's
Yep.
your immune system doing what it's supposed to do. Thank you for doing your part.
So no gaming gumbo on Saturday. Provided Torchwick is feeling up to it, he will stream. That one might be canceled, though. But Tarkoth will still be live midnight. He is not one of the ones impacted by this round of vaccines. So he'll still be live Saturday.
Should be alive.
Midnight Eastern. Yeah, he should be alive. Thursday.
Just gonna run the channel all weekend.
Thursday, there's no relic grind on Thursday night. And Friday, I will not be streaming World of Warcraft raiding because it is FanFest for Final Fantasy XIV. So on Thursday, no relic grind. But on Friday, we'll be doing a 5-person crossover event with State of the Realm, Mr. Happy's channel, and the relic grind. Here on Ready Check Radio. That will be on Happy's channel. We will be hosting it here on Ready Check Radio as well. And Ethis will be sitting in with Tarkoth, Happy, myself, and Sly. So huge show, live reaction to the keynote. That'll start at about 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll have like an hour of just chit-chat before the keynote speech at 9 Eastern, and we'll all find out the special news together. So there you go. Anyway, back to the white powdery substances. Before we get into some like real World of Warcraft news, I did think both of you would benefit from knowing, because I know you were worried, that after 9 years, Blizzard has won their patent lawsuit against Worlds Incorporated. 9 long years. Technically, it was Worlds Incorporated initially going after Blizzard, so I guess Blizzard didn't win. They successfully defended against a patent claim from the Massachusetts-based company Worlds Interactive. It was filed in 2012, arguing that Activision Blizzard was violating 5 different patents it owned, covering, quote, a system and method for enabling users to interact in a virtual space. Huh. Okay. They accused them of using said patents in Call of Duty and World of Warcraft. And after 9 years, a judge finally said, hey, your claims are kind of general purpose, and that's basically what computers do, and display graphical results. So there's really nothing besides abstract ideas here. Nothing you can really patent. So
no.
Good luck. Godspeed.
I very vaguely remember when this happened. This was back in I want to say Wrath of the Lich King, right? Is that how far back this goes?
Filed in 2012.
Yeah.
I remember thinking it was ridiculous back then. So
it would have been a little beyond.
I did not know it was still on.
It would have been after. It would have been after Lich. It would have been after Lich, because Lich was what 2008, I think. 2008, 2009, something like that.
What expansion was after Wrath of the Lich King? Cataclysm?
Mists.
What?
Or is it Cataclysm? I can never remember the order. Is it Cata that was after Wrath?
Yeah,
Cata.
Yeah,
Cata. So it would be more Cata than Wrath. But yeah, around that time.
When did Cataclysm come out?
After Wrath.
2010, yeah. Yeah, so it would have been, So.
After Wrath. What a dick comment.
I'm such a troll.
But yeah, no, it's just I had no idea it was still going on. That's the point. It blows my mind.
After Wrath.
Yeah, well, it seems like a nonsensical venture.
It's all settled.
I think it was after Burning Crusade.
That was after Classic. Just seems like a very efficient use of our court system, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I wonder how much of it was actually like over the 9 years, how much of it was actually being taken care of? Was it
how much actually had litigated?
In 2 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the exact quote from the judge is, World's asserted claims use a general-purpose computer to employ well-known filtering or crowd control methods and means that ultimately use the same to display graphical results and generate a view of the virtual world, none of which is inherently inventive or sufficient to transform the claimed abstract idea into a patent-eligible application. Also, at the same time, I guess, you kind of have to do this, right? Blizzard filed a countersuit. Just basically alleging the same thing. Like, no, those are our patents and you stole them. So. Fantastic. In more general WoW news as well, we reported a number of months back that software mirroring was no longer legal in the World of Warcraft, and the terms of service were updated. But this past week, Xizta, now they clamped down on hardware mirroring. So basically, goodbye multi-boxing.
So if you have like a keyboard that can like split out to multiple computers, whatever, like that doesn't work anymore either.
No surprise here, right, Indy? I mean, they had already done the software one, and you got what they were trying to do. They just have to make sure they update all the EULAs and everything.
I'm happy about this. Personally speaking, I don't have a huge problem with people who multi-box, but when it becomes a nuisance to the other players, when it's just like a plague in a zone, then it's like, yeah, come on. I mean, like, come on. So I'm kind of happy about.
Yeah, you were
this.
a big fan of the Druid trains.
Oh my God, it was like I used to. At a certain point, I took my priest out there because this was before the PvP system changed. You would either be in a PvP server or not. So on my characters on PvP servers, I would literally go and mind control those assholes off a cliff and watch the rest of them just follow because the rest of them were programmed to res one if it was down. So I'd watch them just like train off into a zone they couldn't recover from, and so that was kind of a little satisfying for me. But this is even more satisfying because when it becomes griefing to other players who are playing the game the way it's supposed to be played, then it's an issue.
Yeah,
I
Randy
remember
Jordan.
this stuff going all the way back to like vanilla.
Yeah.
Because I remember going into Alterac Valley and getting pyroblasted by 5 mages simultaneously and being like, what just happened? Like you just disappear. Like your character's basically deleted at that point.
Deleted character.
Community manager Randy Jordan basically in the forum post kind of urged everyone that if you are mirroring gameplay in any way across accounts, it is time to just stop. Action will be taken. Now, we don't know if anybody's been banned yet, but I would imagine that it's just right around the corner. So if that's you gotta stop. If you want to play multiple accounts, you got to be on multiple input devices.
I don't think they had a problem when it was just impacting like PvP and battlegrounds and things like that, and even world PvP. I think when they started having a problem is when it started being utilized to inflate the economy. I think that's when it started becoming a problem.
Yeah.
With all, like, you get 5 druids that all gather herbs and fly and herb the same node or mine the same node and then all fly away simultaneously and the node disappears because only 5 people can do it at a time. I think that's what started causing the problem. And I know this influxed in users when people started farming for the Brutosaur mount last expansion. I know somebody personally in our guild that did it just to get a Brutosaur and then stopped doing it and got it. He stopped doing it when he got his Brutosaur. I thought about it, but I was like, I don't want to put that much money into 5 accounts.
Right.
It's an investment.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
But here's the thing, guys. Like, do you really think that people are going to just automatically stop? No, they're going to try to find ways around it. We're still going to probably see it, but it's a risk. If you do it, it's a risk.
Yep, you run the risk of being presumably banned or at least suspended. I mean, we don't know the exacts. They don't put that type of stuff in the EULA or anything, but you can have your account have action taken against it. Whatever the hell that means. All right, let's get to the real World of Warcraft news this week because we know that Burning Crusade is set for a June 1st launch, so just a mere few weeks away. if you're looking at playing the Burning Crusade Classic. We also have more information on exactly how that's going to work as far as what happens with servers and characters and decisions that you will make. We'll talk about that in a second. But the community doesn't seem to be at large very happy with some decisions that Blizzard has made when it comes to the, I don't know, the financial side of the Burning Crusade. And just a day and a half ago, on the 9th, basically, Asmongold took to Twitlonger to express some frustration with not only this topic, but some other topics as well. Maybe it would be appropriate to say large-scale systems in the game that have persisted despite fan criticism, despite backlash, despite feedback in alphas. And it just kind of went off. As a fan, though, as Asmon normally does, right? Going off with the, I love this game so much, I hate seeing certain things like this. It seems like they're mostly financial decisions now, or the developers don't know what they're doing, or maybe a little from column A and column B. As far as the systems gang, specifically citing things like Soul Ash, like the acquisition of Soul Ash being time-gated and things like that. Things that when he reflects back on, and I'm sure many of us have this, reflect back on your many years of World of Warcraft, you played because you wanted to play 10 hours, 8 hours, 14 hours, whatever you were playing, where now there's a lot of systems seemingly ingrained in the game that make you not really want to play, but have to play. Kind of milking that dwindling player base. If millions could be called dwindling, which in this case I guess it can, because we're comparing 4 and 5 million to 12 million of old, so dwindling. Those types of systems, but also does kind of go off on what we're going to talk about in depth here, the Burning Crusade stuff, where he says, now, when I see a pop-up that Burning Crusade is releasing less than a month from now, and Illidan's iconic "You Are Not Prepared" quote co-opted to sell ridiculously overpriced microtransactions, I see the last bit of heart and soul of a game I loved being drained away for a quarterly earnings report. Now, before we get into the specifics of the microtransactions he is talking about, Indy, your thoughts on just his general feedback here. It is critical. It is vulgar in some ways, but that's Asmon. Like, I wouldn't expect him to not be vulgar. He does make a point to say, this comes from a place of something I absolutely love, and I feel like I'm watching it die. He doesn't use those exact words, but and it feels intentional for a multitude of reasons. Do you agree, or is the fangirl in you one of the ones that he says, hey, there are people, we all deserve better, but there are people still defending this type of stuff, and we all need to stop?
So I like Asmon. I don't agree with him on everything. If I might quote one of the things from his Twitlonger, was he brings up the metaphor of a dick salad, like this amazing salad that's presented to the players, but they throw a dick in there.
Right.
And
to be fair, that actually came from Bellular Gaming. So
that's right. I'm sorry.
And he does source it in his too, but just credit where due, because it's a wonderful analogy that I will use for other things.
That's right. You're correct. I'm sorry. So the metaphor from Bellular, and it was brought back up in this discussion. I might like to make my own little reference to that by saying not everyone hates dicks. So like if one
right, but
one
okay,
player,
hold on. that is a tremendous point of view. It very much is, and I do want you to elaborate. But I think the point was, you may like dicks, but you really don't expect them to be in your fucking salad.
I mean, where I'm going with it is that we both like I can relate to him on having a deep love and it being in your heart for the game and the game that it used to be. But the fact of the matter is, it will never be what it once was. And to have things that you don't like in the game is to be expected, and where he's, telling players like don't accept it, like don't stop accepting quote dog shit. Um I'm kind of not like, and it's not just because I'm such a Blizz fangirl. Believe me, there are so many things in this game that I would change if I could, but I just tend to not play the certain aspects that are no longer fun for me. There's, if when the game stops becoming fun entirely, then I'll be upset and heartbroken. But I feel like right now where we're at is, are there problems? Yes. Are there things that still need to be changed? Absolutely. But you're never going to be presented as a player with an all-inclusive, like perfect game that makes you happy in every regard. There's always going to be something wrong for somebody.
Certainly,
So,
certainly true. Certainly true.
yeah,
Devil's
and
advocate, though, I
well,
think these types of systems do bore the hell out of me as whether they be in World of Warcraft, whether they be in Final Fantasy 14, whether they be in Final Fantasy 11 back in the day. I get why they're there. Some, you always have some aspect of artificially inflating the content time. I get it. This is kind of, I think, exacerbated a little bit, though, Xizta, in how long it's taking between 9.0 and 9.1. These things, yes, they probably annoy a great many of players, but they always look at them as more short term. Okay, there'll be more to do in 9.1, but now we have this extra weight in 9.1. And Asmund does go on to point out that it does feel bad when in alpha for multiple expansions in a row, you get feedback about these types of systems and them not being enjoyable, and they stay and they stay and they stay. And then in the .3.4 patch, all of a sudden they get fixed in a way that lets people just jump in then and speed through it as if Blizzard heard you. And when in reality, it's probably more that was their actual intent from the beginning, and it really didn't matter about the feedback. And there's a certain element of how that might leave a bad taste in one's mouth.
Or dicks in your salad.
That too. That too. Pretty sure I'm going to have to post a separate 48-second video of that on YouTube. That's just, not everybody doesn't like dick.
I mean, that's the thing, that's how I
So
feel.
it'll be on the new Ready Check Radio's TikTok account.
Right.
Like
Snowbound mini bite.
what's the quote? Like it's not the one man's trash is another man's treasure, but it's kind of like that.
Related to dicks?
Can I get dicks on the side? Like, do they have to be in the salad?
Dick on the side, please.
Where do you fall on this, Xizta? How close to agreeing with Asmund or disagreeing with Asmund are you?
In general, I'm not the biggest Asmongold fan.
He's an acquired taste, definitely.
And well, the thing is, I don't hate Asmund, right? I don't hate him at all. When I say I'm not his fan, I'm probably more saying I'm not a fan of his fans. Because if you ever spend any amount of time in his stream, his chat is just the weirdest place, and I want no part of that.
Yeah.
It's the environment around him that I don't enjoy. Him himself is not bad, but he makes very, very valid points here. I personally think, yeah, a lot of this is impacted a lot more because of the very long time between content here, and like they had to have known this gap was coming, right? This is not a surprise. They had to have known this was coming. There's not a way we could have gotten Burning Crusade like a month and a half earlier. Tell me there's no way they could have put that out earlier. Putting that out would have at least distracted people just long enough to not make this feel as bad. For people like me who have no intention to go into classic Burning Crusade, I never even went into classic vanilla, and that's my favorite version of WoW ever.
Where do you stand on the system stuff that he's talking about, like Conduit Energy and Soul Ash, and these just feeling like arbitrary time-gated things for the sake of arbitrary time gating, not because they're meaningful systems?
I mean, this stuff has all been in the game since the beginning. It's just a different coat of paint every time. You look at the original thing, it was all gated behind reputations, right? Like, you would sit there and farm Thorium Brotherhood rep forever. you
Oh
know,
my
but
god.
that stuff was like you needed to find somebody to craft it. You know, in Burning Crusade, it was farming daily quests. That was the new hotness, right? That was what was put in there, because I remember the Ogre Law dailies and the Sketties
Oh yeah.
dailies, and like, you
Shatari
know, the fishing
Skyguard.
dailies to get your crocodile pets, and like there's always been these things in, and yeah, it's evolved, and they're nothing new. We're just more aware of them now. That's the big thing, is we're very conscious of how this whole system takes place, and now it's just like, okay, let's have a new system. It's the same thing. It's just called something else for a different currency or whatever. That's the way this game is run forever. I'm used to it. I don't care. I don't hate it. It's the way the game is going. If I hated it, I wouldn't have kept playing this entire time. Um, I don't know. It's just we're more aware of it now. That's all.
I don't necessarily agree that they're the same as they were back in the day. Like when I look back at the various reputation grinds and you know, time wasters and stuff of Burning Crusade or even the beginning portions of Wrath, I see those more as, you know, you were grinding to get a mount, or you were grinding to do these oddball things. We now have systems that are grinded and gated for time that impact your equipment. Like I understand.
had
I understand
attunements
that
in
back in the
Burning
days,
Crusade.
if you wanted the glaives, right? You were running BT over and over and over and over and over, and that is a grind in and of itself. But it's an accomplishment grind. It is not this like arbitrary, well, you can only get so much soul ash this week, so your legendary can only get to so much this, or you can only, the conduit energy doesn't, like, it doesn't fit in the world. It doesn't fit narratively. It just seems arbitrary. Like, the grinds of old were almost adventure grinds to me. Yeah, you actually did BT enough to get those glaives, and you actually got the damn things to drop, and man, you must have killed Illidan, what, 700 times in that process. I get it. A grind is a grind, no doubt. But one certainly feels more adventurous and
Well,
participatory than
yeah,
me doing this. Well, I can only get so many valor points this week. Guess my hero's
I
done
mean,
on Thursday.
we had
Has a
attunements.
4-day weekend, hero. Go you.
We had attunements as artificial gating, all the way back in, started in vanilla with Naxxramas. That was the first time we had an attunement. Was, no, I guess Molten Core. You had to do the little quest, whatever. So yeah,
Onyxia.
we've had attunements. Molten Core. We had it again in Blackwing Lair, right? We had it again in Naxxramas. We had, and then Burning Crusade. You know, we had Tempest Keep, which you had to do. What was it? Karazhan or Black Temple? I don't remember. You had to do Karazhan and Groll's Lair, I think, or Magtheridon. I don't remember. I honestly don't remember. But there was crazy attunements that you had to do, and
Yeah.
stuff that
But that
involved
was an
going to
adventure
Hyjal, and
grind. That was an adventure
they were.
grind.
They were. But I guess for
You
me,
weren't gated attunement
for
wise because you couldn't do something
right.
more than X times per week.
But I think for me, like, I was doing all these reputation grinds and everything, even though they're optional. I was doing them for mounts and stuff because there was really nothing else to grind. That to me, grinding has always been part of the game, and it's always felt like it is the game to me. So when it got put into quote unquote mandatory systems, I never really noticed because it's stuff I had been doing all along. You know what I mean?
Indy, what about the
So
point that when you constantly try to, and these are Asmund's words here, when you constantly try to reinvent the wheel every expansion, you really don't ever end up inventing the wheel. You just keep compounding system upon system upon system upon system that are used for a very finite period of time and then have to sit there in the game and aren't utilized in any meaningful way going forward, i.e. systems from Warlord stayed in Warlord, systems from Legion stayed in Legion. These systems, the Soul Ash and all that stuff, they're going to stay in Shadowlands when we move on to the next thing. And that doesn't really innovate in any real long-term meaningful way. It's these little splashes in the expansions.
Yeah, I mean, I can agree with that. It's a shame because I was, I was one of few. I usually tend to have like the unpopular opinion, i.e., like actually having enjoyed my Torghast twisting corridors. Like I thought that was fun. People are probably like, "What are you, the world's Worst Masochist or what?
No, I
But
like that one too.
yeah, I had fun. With the systems though, like the garrison system, I enjoyed. Like I enjoyed upgrading my garrison, and I had always wished that they kept something like that in the game. But I guess, I guess, it turned into the class hall, and then you have your covenant sanctum, and so what are you guys? What
I keep
I
going
like?
back and forth between me not agreeing with you and Xizta agreeing with you on the Torghast thing.
Okay.
See,
Oh,
he
okay.
agrees.
I
Xizta
thought you were picking.
approved on the
I thought you were
twisting
picking
quarters.
on me about the
I
garrison.
would never pick on you. I know better than that. I don't want to get my ass kicked.
I don't do that. I'm a
You
healer.
send people to do it.
I'm a healer. Okay.
Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
But no, I can understand that. Like, I do wish sometimes there have been certain things that were introduced into the game for one expansion that I'm like, why is this not carrying over? Why is this not something we can build onto? Why is this not something we can kind of recycle and make better? So yes, that is annoying, and I agree on that in that regard.
Just the chat is amazing. If you're not watching it live, you're really missing out. Come stop by and say hi. Indy, I don't know why you type that. I just imagine Indy at a restaurant getting the salad, then she's eating and she looks over at my plate. She's, you going to eat that dick?
Well, it's like, you know how people pick things out that they don't want? Like, if people are picking things out of their salad they don't want, I'm like, oh, hey, I'll take those pickles. Hey, you don't want that dick? You don't want that dick?
So, Indy, if you ever
it.
go out to eat with me, I would just slide the plate of salad over to you. You just have the whole thing. I don't want it.
Okay, that works too.
Just see you chowing down on a salad. Yo, you going to eat that dick?
I might pick the croutons out. That's about it.
Let no dick go to waste.
Onto the Burning Crusade portion that Asmund did allude to, and I want to talk about a little more here because there are a lot of people miffed about this. We're going to talk now about some of the monetization options, whether that be buying some editions of the game itself, whether that be some of the character functions that you can have, whether it's cloning, boosting, whatever. We're going to talk about all those, give you the prices for those since now we know them in anticipation of the June 1st. Some of these will actually go live. I think it's the 18th, next Tuesday when the pre-patch goes in. You'll be able to do these. Now, before we do that, it is absolutely vital to me that I get this across to you. You do not have to spend money on any of these to play Burning Crusade Classic. You can, under your current sub, go play. And the way it's going to work, for those of you that are already in Classic, is you will make a selection on if you want to leave your person in Classic or roll to Burning Crusade Classic. The servers as they are now will all automatically roll to Burning Crusade Classic. Okay? If you want to stay in Vanilla Classic, copies of those servers are being spun up that will just stay Classic as they are with your character names, your guild names, your progress, all that stuff. Okay? And that's where you will stay if you want to do that. That is, also, side note, for those of you that pick that option, you will have to download yet another fucking client. Just a side note, because in the launcher, all of the current classics will roll to Burning Crusade, so you will have to re-download a vanilla client if you opt to keep your character there. Okay? Now, that is all covered under your $15 subscription. So no additional fees. That's your disclaimer. The rest of these are optional. But even being optional, they're creating a little bit of angst. So let's start with, I think, the most obvious one that people actually might have a choice to make if they've been playing Classic, and that's character cloning. If you don't want to have your character just on one or the other, Classic or Burning Crusade Classic, you can opt to have a character cloned ahead of the June 1st release. And the way that will work is that you will pay a fee, and your character will be cloned on both. You will have your 60 on Classic, and you will have your 60 if you're at level cap on Burning Crusade, ready to level to 70 through Burning Crusade content. And you'll do that on a per character basis. A per character basis. Okay. Now, we knew that. And we knew that as a result of BlizzConline, that they were going to offer that service. We all knew that there was going to be a fee involved. So I don't think anybody's surprised that there's a dollar amount here, Indy. But what I think is more surprising is the actual amount. So starting May 18th, if you want to opt into character cloning service, you can at a price tag of $35 per character. Per character. Per character.
Mm-hmm.
I got to admit, I didn't play Classic. I am considering playing Burning Crusade because that was my, nostalgia punch was Burning Crusade into Wrath. So I'm considering it. That is much higher than I anticipated this to be. I honestly saw this as like a $10 to $15 character naming, character transfer swap type. And I know that's a little more expensive than it used to be too, but I honestly saw this as a $10 or a $15 job, not a $35 job, particularly knowing that character on Classic exists. They're just not letting me play it. It has to exist for the way that they're doing this server stuff. They're moving all the classics automatically to TBC and cloning those servers as they are. So my character's there. 35 bones, Indy.
Unpopular opinion coming. You ready for it? If they're not forcing you guys to clone your characters. So you get the option to proceed to Burning Crusade with your characters. So if you want all of your characters on Burning Crusade, just take that route. Like there's a fork in the road. You're being forced to make a choice. Yes. But if you want your character on both realms, it comes with a price. And I'm fine. Like, I don't plan on doing the clone because I'm going to have 2 priests. But it's not like you can't have a character on the old Classic and a character on Burning Crusade. You just have to either make a new character or cough up the fee. Back in the day when Burning Crusade came out, if you wanted to transfer servers, that was a hefty fee. People are really upset about this, saying it should only be $10 or $5. But if it was only $5 or $10, everybody would do it. Everybody would have characters on both servers, and that could create a problem in itself right there. It's a convenience. It's a bit of a luxury to have a copy of the same character. Could you imagine if somebody could have their same character across multiple servers for $10? Could you imagine what kind of an issue that would cause? So I'm fine with $35. I think that it should be appropriate for the convenience that they're giving. It's nothing like it's more work for them. I'm not saying it's more work for Blizzard, but it should certainly come at a cost that's more than $10, I think. So unpopular opinion, sorry about that, but $25 to $35 is not making me cry inside.
Xizta, agree, disagree?
I actually lean more toward the same side with Indy, because I get from like the server side of it, wanting to not, flood up a lot of like processing space. It's not the storage space, right? Because character data can all, that cannot be massive amounts. We can store 70 gigabyte games on something the size of a Nintendo Switch little drive, right? So maybe back whenever, like when Burning Crusade came out, that was a much bigger problem. Now storage is not really an issue, but it's probably the processing of all the, like, when it launches, everybody wants to clone their character. If it's $5, then yeah, it's going to be flooded. The systems are going to be flooded. Stuff is going to start crashing. We've seen Blizzard launches, and we know what kind of chaos that stuff causes. So part of it, I think, is okay. but 35 per character is a little insane. Because if you're somebody that started playing on a classic guild and you've leveled 3 or 4 characters and you're still active and maybe you haven't finished killing Kel'Thuzad yet, not everybody has. Guarantee you it. And your guild is still working on it and they still want to go, but you also want to proceed and do Burning Crusade stuff in your downtime because you're done farming, you're done boosting your character. All you could do is during raid time or something like that. So yeah, maybe you want to clone the character and progress a little bit in Burning Crusade and start getting a head start over there. 35 a character, if you have 3 or 4 characters that you're interested in moving, I think it should at least be like 35 for the account, or that server or something like that. But I don't know.
Yeah, so this is obviously a very
middle.
niche purchase to begin with, right? Yeah. You are talking about somebody that has leveled on Classic and is interested in continuing the Burning Crusade, but also continuing on Classic to begin with. Most people are kind of going to be like, I'll stay. I want to stay on Classic because that's what my guild's doing, or we're going to go to Burning Crusade because that's what my guild's doing. We're talking about a pretty niche audience of people that would buy this product anyway.
This is the one that I think is the most reasonable out of all of them, though I still think it's a little high.
But we're talking about a company that has posted record profits for quarter after quarter after quarter. And if it actually took work, I would probably be more on your side, Indy. But I love you to death, but I think we got to disagree on this one. Only because they've publicly talked about how this whole process works. Everything is moving to Burning Crusade.
Mm-hmm.
There's a stopgap, and there's a, hey, take a picture. Now move everything to Burning Crusade. By the way, take that picture and load it into this third vanilla classic client that people will have to download, which means there's an image of my characters already there. Like, it's there whether I buy this or not. That image of my character is there just in case I buy this.
Mm-hmm.
35 bones. I didn't expect it to be free. I'm all for, you know what? You're giving me basically now 3 versions of the game for $15 a month. Cool. You know what? I don't mind giving you 10 or 15 bucks to give me a copy of my character on that server. I'm not that entitled that I think it should be free. But I also know that there's like nothing. It's just put a check mark in a box that says this shows up on my classic login screen. That's all this really is.
I look at it as more than that, though. This is the first time. Let's think back to all of the character services we've had to date. Every character service, name change, faction change. You could change your guild's faction. You could transfer servers. You could like alter your character in so many ways. But this is the first time that we are being allowed to have multiple instances of the same character on multiple servers. So I'm happy that it's not going to just be
but it's only multiple instances of the same character for a moment. After that, they are 2 totally different characters that just happen to share the same name on 2 totally different clients. Not just servers, 2 totally different clients. So you're not playing the same character.
You're cloning, though.
I'm cloning. I'm asking for access to something that's already been cloned. That's what I'm paying for.
Right. I guess I just don't see the problem in it. If everybody did it, then it would just be excessive and extremely convenient. And I like things being hard. Like if you really want another priest, if I have a level 60 priest in vanilla, I'm going to be one of those that leaves that 60 priest in vanilla because she has yet to get benediction. She has yet to get that full set that I wear that everybody makes fun of. She's not getting cloned, or I'm sorry, transferred or cloned, because I'm just going to make a brand new priest.
Yep.
And she's technically getting cloned. And you're just not.
And Geecher has it right.
I'm not paying in chat. I'm not paying to have it. Yeah.
Geecher has it right. This isn't newfangled technology on Blizzard's side either. They clone for the PTR all the time.
True. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So this isn't like newfangled. I don't know. I think this one's overpriced. Indy, you're fine with it. Xizta, you think
I'm in
that
the
35
middle.
is fine, but maybe
Yeah.
on a per account or a per server basis, not a per character basis.
Yeah.
All right, well, look at that. We ran the gamut of
like-
all the possible options on that one, I think.
But like at the
Yeah.
same time, it's like this is gonna come up every single time the next classic thing comes up, like $35 to keep it on Burning Crusade when you move to Wrath of the Lich King, $35 when you go from Lich King to Cataclysm, $35 from Cataclysm to Pandaria, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just like it's gonna keep going and so on and so forth.
Yeah, and this is one of those Asmund making the point on these that these are ridiculously, in his opinion, kind of just taking advantage of the dwindling player base to scrape more money. The other two items
We're
that
in the
we
middle of a pandemic as well. Not a lot of people have financially become stable yet. You know, people are still trying to get there. A lot of people still have lost their jobs entirely. Like, people cannot be expected to shell out this kind of money.
One of the other items we knew was coming was a boost to level 58 for those of you that did not play Classic or didn't make it to 60 in Classic, or had no interest in Classic, but you'd like me, this might be something I consider. $40 though, I don't know. If you want to just jump into Classic, limit 1 per account. So no multiple characters on your account, and you can't use it on Blood Elf or Draenei, obviously, for different world first achievements and races and things like that as far as leveling. But that boost, 40 bones. Again, we knew there was going to be a fee. We knew it was going to be 1 per account. We knew you couldn't use it on Blood Elf and Draenei, all from BlizzConline. The only thing new on this getting to the level 58 is that it is 40 bones. Yay, nay, Indy.
Right now in the live game, a character boost is $60. I'm looking at it right now. So there's 7 expansions between this.
So you're fine with this particular price point, Xizta?
No, what I'm saying is $40 and $60 with 7 expansions between. Like no.
I'm not sure what you're saying. Are you saying the 60 is too high as well?
No.
They
No,
both should be knocked down?
Relative.
Or relative
like,
to each other, this should be $20, $30.
Yeah. It
Gotcha.
should be way
Okay.
lower is what I'm saying.
Gotcha. Okay.
Especially if it's only one time. I could see if you're trying to make a system that like is in place to prevent people from using it to abuse it, and you have 7 characters, 8 characters, 10 characters on the account. You literally limited this to 1. That's a little ridiculous.
Indy?
Well, these services weren't available back then, were they? To my knowledge. And so you couldn't boost yourself unless, of course, you paid somebody to boost you in dungeons.
Right.
Again, and this is not me just being fangirl. I'm fine with this. And actually, if they, not to dig up something we dead and buried, but if they made it limited to 1 per account for the cloning for $5, I would be fine with that too. My thing is that if you make something too cheap or make it too accessible, it can and will be exploited at some point. And again, this is not a service I personally plan on using. So while it doesn't affect me per se, I think that if you're going to, drop $40 to have a character instantly at 58, then it's, to me, that's worth it. I don't see the problem. And Xizta's talking about the discrepancy in levels, I guess, because for $60 you can transcend across every expansion to date versus $40. But I think the $40 is mainly because this is something new. It wasn't available back then.
So I'm going to tell you,
don't
I have
remember.
a bit of a different take on this one than both of you.
Okay.
I feel like the $40 is fine. Would I be happy if it was 30 or 35? Sure, absolutely. But I'm okay with the $40. What I feel should happen, though, is that the live version needs to be knocked down to $40 as well, because essentially in the number squish and with the Chromie stuff, you really are only playing 1 expansion anyway. if you're leveling a new character. So while I can appreciate the point of 6, 7 expansions worth of content, it's not like they're melting you through 6 or 7 expansions of content. They're expanding you through one, when you get that boost up to get to Shadowlands. So I feel like they should both be 40 then at this point. At one point, I understood why maybe they would charge a little more to take you to 110 and fly you through 5 and 6 expansions. 40 is, on this one, I don't feel nearly as, bad spending $40, but I'd feel better spending 30. Like, this is not one where I'm like, this should be 10, like the account cloning. This should be 10 or 15. But I don't feel horrible spending 40. I don't feel horrible spending 40. If, again, because we're talking about a niche audience, literally me's. People that did not play Classic but might want to do Burning Crusade and don't want to go level through Classic just to do it. That's a niche audience.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, honestly, I'm going to say this just because I guess I'm speaking from the point of view of a player who doesn't enjoy alts, who, like, I throw all my resources and all of my time and energy into my priest. And you guys all know this. Like,
Right.
I am focused and devoted and fixated on my priest. If I run an alt, it's to support the
all
priest.
of these prices are horrid if you're an altaholic. I mean, they are just
and I was
horrid.
reading chat. I was reading Omi, like, what. So if you're a player who's an altaholic, I'm sorry. I wasn't really thinking of you with my responses. If I were somebody who enjoyed multiple characters, multiple alts at max level, this would absolutely be pretty crappy news. So I can understand that. And I do, like, I guess from that perspective, yes, my point of view would change. But
I still have the same point of view. $35, whether it's one player or multiple alts for character cloning, that's ridiculous and dumb, particularly the way you're doing this. 40 still feels bad. It feels really bad if you play alts on Classic and want to take that, or you want to take alts, spin up alts and play them in Burning Crusade. But for one character, I might bite the bullet and give you $40 here. The last package is the $70 deluxe edition of the Burning Crusade. Remember, there is no box price for the Burning Crusade Classic to begin with, if you just want to go and play. But this deluxe edition is $70. It gives you the Reawakened Phase Hunter mount. Now, that can actually only be used in Burning Crusade. However, you do get the Viridian Phase Hunter mount. That can be used in current Shadowlands or Burning Crusade, and it gives the current game's visual style. Actually, I'm sorry, that one can only be Shadowlands, right?
Modern Warcraft.
Yeah, modern.
Not in the Classic.
Not in the Classic. Dark Portal Hearthstone for use in BC. Path of Illidan Toy for BC. Though the toy box wasn't there yet, so I'm not exactly sure how that one's going to work. The Dark Portal Pass, which does give you the boost to level 58 and 30 days worth of game time. And this is the one I hate the most. And it's totally fucking optional. I know. I just hate how this is priced at $70 and why they're trying to do this. So look at this from my perspective, Xizta. Yep. I didn't play Classic. I'm interested in BC. I don't really want to do 0 through 60. That's not what I want to jump into Classic for.
Right.
So I'm already considering the boost at 40 bones. And I already know my sub is $15. This feels a little grimy now. Because somebody in my position, this is 100% aimed at looking at somebody similar to me and saying, we could probably he'll probably see this package and go, well, hell, that boost is 40. My sub is 15. That's 55.
You inspired it,
55.
Can we?
So that's
can we get
15.
Can we get that extra 15 from him?
We squeeze it out.
Yeah, and then I feel really bad for people like you, Xizta, who, and I don't think you're gonna do this, but maybe you will. You are such a mount whore that these mounts, even though you may have no intention of playing Classic or Burning Crusade Classic, these mounts might be enough to just bilk you of $70.
Mount singular.
Yeah, because you won't be able to use the one
state.
because you're not in BC. Yeah.
Yeah, so really it comes down to, for me, right, somebody looking at this, is the Hearthstone and the toy, which can only be used in Burning Crusade Classic. Those don't even carry over into live.
Right.
Those are only for Classic. And then the boost and the Classic mount, right? Those are all off the table. So out of this, I get 30 days of game time, and I get a mount. Typically, mounts in the mount store go for 25. Game time, 15. That's $40. Right? If this was priced, or even just a bundle for $40 that even just came with the mount and game time that had nothing to do with the Burning Crusade extra stuff, yeah, I absolutely would buy it.
I just want you to know, by the way, that since we're talking about Burning Crusade, I couldn't resist putting in a video guide to how to run Karazhan. So this is credit where due. This is Warrior TSW's guide from 2016 on how to run Kara in the Burning Crusade.
But that extra $30, I can't do it. I cannot do it. As much as I collect all these mounts, and I've never missed a collector's edition, even the regular vanilla WoW, like I have the collector's edition for that one as well. I have Mini Diablo, the Panda Cub, and I don't remember what the third pet was.
I hope somebody gets the Nightmare mount.
Zergling. It was a Zergling. I have I have every single one. In Burning Crusade, we had the Netherwelt pet. No, can't do it.
Indie 70 bones, yes, no?
I've always been one to always purchase digital deluxe editions of everything. Before those were available, I was waiting in line midnight, the night of releases, for my collector's editions. This is going to probably be a pass for me, even though if you add it up with the boost, $40, you get the 30 days of game time, and then the items, which the Path of Illidan was a TCG quote-unquote toy, but it was a consumable that had charges.
That's why I said at the beginning of this, I'm not quite sure how they're going to do that, because the toy box wasn't a thing yet. So
it had 50 charges.
Unless they're creating a new, I still have mine in the bank, but unless they're creating a new item that doesn't have charges on it, I don't see how this could hold a whole lot of value, because it's going to be consumed at some point. But to some players, they might want that Hearthstone. They might want the 2 mounts.
Right.
I'm not it's for me, I'm fine without them. I will live without them. So this isn't a sell for me. But overpriced, yes. I guess for somebody that really wants the items within, they'll have to decide. My question is it going to include a boost in addition to the one, is the $40 boost? What if somebody purchased it in addition to the
that
digital,
is limited to one per account.
Okay, so you can't even purchase it.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was going to say that might be somebody's way around, the
Yeah.
But,
so I'm not nearly as entitled as a lot of people screaming on forums, but to wrap this portion up for me, the cloning is overpriced. I'm sorry. The cloning is overpriced for the work that it's literally going to be a checkbox on a duplicated server that gives me access or not. Stop it. The boost is, I think, slightly overpriced. I'd either like to see that knocked down to 30 or keep it at 40, but then knock down the live version to 40 as well, because they're essentially doing the same thing, skipping one expansion's worth of content. And this digital package, this deluxe $70 ones, I hate the idea of this one all the way around, not because of its price point, but because of its grimy feel to people that aren't going to play BC or Classic. Let's try and get them a mount. Throw a mount in there. We'll get the Xiztas of the world. Or, hey, somebody looking at a boost and a 1 month sub at $55. Let's see if we can get them for an extra 15, baby. And they shake their chest at me, and I'm like, okay, here's another 15.
Well, if I was in your position, Mike, I absolutely would buy this. If
I
planned on playing the Burning Crusade Classic, I would buy it.
I can't do it. I can't.
No, I would. I'm just saying, if I was you,
Not doing
I
it.
would do it.
No, I'm not.
I'm not telling you to do it.
No.
He feels too grimy, Xizta.
Mr. Toucan in
fine.
chat has a question,
But
so go ahead and put it in there.
That's the
Mr.
difference
Toucan.
between the two of us.
Well, that's one of them. I mean, there's a lot of differences between us.
No, that's the only one.
Before we leave Blizzard, and we do have other stuff to talk about, or before we leave World of Warcraft, has anybody been like taking? I know generally none of the three of us are like watching strategies and stuff like that for upcoming raids on PTR, but I have peeked at just some of the bosses and kind of like their look and stuff like that. Any early favorites, or are you guys totally avoiding like PTR stuff until 9.1 comes out?
I'm not on PTR.
Like you're not watching anything, you're just totally ignoring it.
I'm ignoring that, but I've been trying to get my Keystone Master done in retail, so that I've been kind of tunnel visioning a little bit. I'm a little behind the curve.
A little behind the curve. What about you, Xizta?
For the most part, I've been avoiding it because I'd like to be surprised, but did catch one, and I don't want to spoil it, but for those that know me and know my favorite raid, I'm excited for one boss in particular.
Well, who?
I don't want to spoil it.
Oh, come on.
So if you know my favorite raid, the boss from my favorite raid.
I don't listen to anything you say. Look at this maiden fight. See? I miss that. Mr. Toucan wants me to tell you to go sub to a YouTube channel, but I'm not going to tell you which one. Is that a nice compromise? How about 500 bits? I was offered 1,000 bits. So 500 bits since I didn't give the YouTube name.
You sell out.
Yeah. Don't trust all or nothing. I guess nothing. That sucks. Yeah. Don't trust my opinion on Mr. Toucan because it has been bought. My opinion has been bought. All of my reviews are now subject.
I honestly, I would say the name of the encounter, but for those other people that are avoiding information, I don't want to ruin stuff coming out, you know?
Stop it. Let's talk Diablo. I do like Sylvanas' bow.
Oh, here we go.
I do like that.
Here we go.
Oh, is this the check-in? Is this the check-in?
I called it.
Are you in yet?
No, I can unregister though.
Not in yet. Damn it.
I'm getting to that point. They're gonna make me unregister.
Well, I mean, you won't have to wait long because according to an earnings call, it is on track for release, quote, later this year. Later this year.
I'm gonna play it like once, so it doesn't really even matter.
I mean, I gotta say, watching footage of it, actually, it looks pretty good.
I've played this. I've played Diablo Immortal. I played it at BlizzCon. The game is tremendously fun. If you are a fan of any of the Diablos, you will enjoy it.
I mean, it looks an awful lot like Diablo 3 in just some more bite-sized chunks.
On my phone.
Just some more like bite-sized chunks so that like if you got to get off the bus, you're fine.
I don't want to game on my phone either.
I don't either. I'm not a big mobile guy. But
just port it to the Switch.
Later this year.
Port it to the Switch. Then I'll play it all day long.
Later this year.
BlueStacks? No, that's not good enough.
We also got a little info from the Diablo 2 Resurrected team, by the way. Principal designer Rob Gallerani was talking to IGN and said that the game's still in progress. We did our tech alpha. From a design side, we have lots of thoughts about additional quality of life stuff coming up so we can make the game better. But I thought this was an interesting little point. It's not a lot of information. But lead artist Chris Almerel added that the team can't promise they'll actually change everything that people gave them feedback in the alpha. But when there are things we agree with, we can push that a little further. But they have a simple line. They don't want to make the game easier. They do want to make the game easier to play, but not make the game easier. And if you don't understand the distinction there, because, you know, it's kind of vague, they kind of give the example, Indy, that they're not going to allow you to carry infinite arrows or have a larger inventory, because while both of those would be something that old school players might enjoy, that ultimately changes the fundamentals of the game and what Diablo 2 is. So they still want you to be, do I pick this item up or do I leave it there? Do I go back to town or do I not? Just because they're looking at ways to make the game easier to play from a UI standpoint and a system standpoint, they don't want to have that impact the core experience. So those of you that were concerned you might be getting Diablo 2 Lite in this remaster, or this remaster, I don't think that's going to be the case, at least not intentionally.
You know where I stand on that. I'm a fan of maintaining the original integrity of the game. If it is a re-release or a remaster, you know what? Like, things are looking great. I checked out some of the, well, it looks like we're talking about that next, so I won't jump to that yet, but I'm a huge fan of things remaining the same, no changes.
Xizta, some of these models that we're starting to see as we see more and more and more footage just look amazing. So to give you an example, here we have the original Blood Raven. Yeah, dance, Blood Raven, dance. Pretty sweet. Pretty sweet back in the day. Here we have the new one. Smexy.
I love how it's still Diablo-esque, though.
Very
you know what
much.
I mean?
Yeah, very much. Like, you look at that and you know what game that's from. You know what game that's from. Here's another. This one's a good one. Act 1 boss. And Dario. With the bouncing chesticles.
The nipple clamps.
And the nipple clamps. Yeah, you can just barely tell on the original models that there were nipple clamps on there and a chain. But I'll tell you what, in the new model, you can definitely tell. You can definitely tell. Shit's pierced. I'm liking more and more and more what I'm seeing. I can't wait. That's it. That is at least 3 more pixels. Yeah, there's at least 3 more pixels in there.
My favorite one, though, is Griswold.
Yes, I was going to say that, too.
Yeah. Overwatch, ladies and gentlemen. Overwatch. So China and Blizzard might have had a intersection again. Remember a few months back, a year back, or whatever it was, they went ahead and banned Hearthstone player for comments regarding Hong Kong and Taiwan.
Yeah.
Well, we're back at it again, except it wasn't actually Blizzard that really did anything here, except if you read between the lines, the Overwatch League itself might have actually mediated the situation a little bit. I'm going to pronounce this wrong again. Say BLB made some comments on a stream in April about the One China policy, about Taiwan, about Hong Kong, and of course, that upset China. They're a little sensitive when it comes to that topic. And so a lot of the Chinese Overwatch teams decided we're going to boycott and we're not going to take part in any events that Park is at. So, yeah. Well, a few weeks go by, and maybe on the West you didn't even know about this until recently, because it really became public in the news this past week. But ironically, it became public after it was, for the most part, resolved. So in April, the comments are made. In mid-April, an apology is made. But the Chinese teams, particularly like the Dragons, right? They came out and said, on Weibo, Chinese Twitter, basically, that from the moment we saw these remarks, whoops, sorry, that's not what I wanted to read. Where's the apology? They kind of ignored the apology. Yeah, here it is. In addition, although the player has posted an apology afterwards, I personally feel this apology is not worthy of recognition and acceptance, so the total boycott of the player will continue. This was from SHD_Van, talking about the Shanghai, from the perspective of the Shanghai Dragons. Then, as this breaks, we find out that all these teams have said, hey, we're going to play. Everything's cool now. And basically all issued the same statement. This one coming from Spark. Our team is very concerned about voices from our community and among our fans, and we respect the many emotions that have risen due to the team's viewpoints previously expressed that they were going to boycott. Through the active involvement of the Overwatch League and with collaboration from the teams involved, we recently had many rounds of discussion and have finally reached an agreement on this incident. Meanwhile, all teams have agreed that providing the best competitive matches for our fans around the world is the number one priority. We will resume normal activities with each other based on mutual respect and unity, and we look forward to making our fans proud in the upcoming tournaments. Now, what has happened in the background? Anybody's guess. Anybody's guess. We have the statements in early April, the apology on April 14th. A couple more weeks go by before it's really caught in the news at the beginning of May last week. And then within 2 or 3 days of it breaking that there was this boycott that apparently had already been going on for a month now, even though the season didn't start yet, right? So they were future boycotting, saying we're not going to. They didn't actually have to boycott anything. They just threatened that they were going to when the season started. By the way, there were some exhibitions and stuff where everybody seemed to be playing along just fine during the boycott. All of a sudden, it becomes news, and 2 or 3 days later, it's settled with the help of the Overwatch League and talks. So what happened behind the scenes? I don't know. But I don't expect this stuff to get any easier to deal with because of, you want that Chinese money. And when you want that Chinese money, you got to play by those rules or you run the risk of not getting that Chinese money. And Blizzard's already dabbled into this pool indie with Hearthstone before and didn't like it, I'm sure, from the potential conflict with China portion, but also the backlash of its own player base outside of China for apparently kowtowing to China on these particular topics. I don't think this is going to go away anytime soon.
No. I mean, I'm not like personally invested in this issue or Overwatch, but I still think that if it comes down to, and I'm reading this site on Translate, so I'm probably not getting the whole story here, but I do think that it's not going away. It's not getting swept under the rug. It's definitely something that's going to require a response in order to resolve. And I don't even know if this is something that will be resolved by Overwatch 2, if you're asking my honest opinion.
I doubt it.
Yeah. And we don't even know when that's going to be.
By the way, the Shanghai Dragons went ahead and then after that dropped the May Melee to the Dallas Fuel. Just interesting side note there. So maybe a little bit of a distraction. Hey, Xizta, I wanted to ask you, do you think we're getting the anniversary soon? Like we thought like maybe mid-May, but now it's looking like maybe it'll be later than normal, around May 24th-ish, probably.
I don't. Let me look real quick. What anniversary event? It's usually, I believe, next month. I think that's typically when it runs.
No, I think it's normally mid-May, isn't it?
I'm looking right now. Pulling up the.
I was actually playing Overwatch with a friend who exclusively plays Overwatch.
So 2017 was May 23rd to June 12th, May 22nd to June 11th, May
24th would be right on par then, huh?
Yeah.
May 19th to June 9th. Yeah.
Well, the reason I kind of peg it on the 24th is we talked 2 weeks ago when we kind of did like a whole Overwatch special, the three of us. We talked about maybe getting some Overwatch 2 news besides Kaplan leaving, right? They just teased that they were going to get some announcements, and we speculated maybe around the anniversary, because that seems to be the next time we're going to have a big Overwatch info dump. Why not put some Overwatch 2 info in there? Well, next week we're getting 2 hours of Overwatch 2 footage, specifically detailing PvP. For those of you that have been concerned that all the focus was on PvE and not retaining your PvP base, a concern we brought up 2 weeks ago, there hasn't been much, but on May 20th, Blizzard's going to hold a 2-hour-long live stream focused on the PvP side of the sequel of Overwatch 2. They said that the stream will also include appearances by Overwatch 2 game director Aaron Keller, who just took over for Kaplan, with lead hero designer Jeff Goodman and associate art director Dion Rogers. You're going to see new maps, major gameplay updates, reinvigoration of the core Overwatch experience, buzzword, quote, 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 quote. That'll be May 20th on Twitch and YouTube at 3 p.m. Eastern. And then, by the way, they're going to do an AMA on Reddit on May 24th. So, yeah, that's good news, right? Like, we're going to see it this month, Overwatch 2. I don't care because it's the PvP side of things, but that's fine. I got to be happy for you cats that actually do enjoy the PvP side.
But still seeing like the way the engine and everything is going to work and little changes that that's going to carry over into the PvE elements of the game as well. So it's still going to be worth a watch for you, even if you're not invested in the actual PvP stuff. You're going to see how
and I host
things have
I
changed.
host a
the
stupid
environment
show about Blizz shit, so I kind of got to watch anyway.
Yeah, it's exciting. You're not just getting like a little 30-second glimpse of like bits and pieces. They're going to actually stream hours of this content. And like Xizta said, even if you're in it for the PvE, like campaign or questing mode that might be available, you're probably still going to be seeing the same maps. They're just going to be situated for different
well, they
objectives.
say new maps too, so
we'll no. I mean, new maps. But I feel like if you're in a map for PvP, the same map might have PvE objectives. You know what I mean? Like I think it'll multi-purpose, because when they introduced long ago when they introduced campaigns, you would still use the same maps to do your objectives, right? Or were they just holiday things?
No, you're right.
I don't know. I'm excited about this because I really honestly, I've been dipping my toe into Overwatch lately to try and get back into it. And I'm excited for all of this new stuff because I want to be excited about this game again.
Be careful with the Overwatch. You might find a dick in it. I'm just saying there might be.
I won't mind.
There might be in Overwatch a few dicks.
There may be many.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm logging in, so.
Well, there's one big dick right there.
There you go.
Xizta, on the AMA, what do you want to ask? One question. What's the one? They'll 100% answer it. What are you going to ask?
Oh,
come on. The answer's release date. Now.
No, I don't want that.
Yeah,
I want a good question.
Yeah,
like, what's the next hero? The next unannounced hero. Like, I don't want.
Andy, it's release date, isn't it? Like,
I don't want.
You can ask one question and you know they're going to answer it on the AMA. You're going to ask release date, right?
No.
What are you asking?
I don't think I'm asking release date.
Oh, I'm definitely asking release date. What are you going to ask then?
Is it just me? Or does Mike sound like a robot?
Yeah.
I might on Discord.
You're a robot, Mike.
I'm a
robot. Hear what you said.
I'm a robot.
Okay. You sound clear now.
Okay, now you're
back. I said, what are you asking?
You
yeah, Discord must have lagged out. What are you asking if you're not going to ask about release?
Oh, I would be interested in, I mean, I don't know if we're going to get these answers, but like as somebody who used to enjoy the more PvE aspects of a PvP game, like, going back to like old Tom Clancy games, I would like to know what modes will be available for us PvE enthusiasts, and not just like escort this and escort that. Like for healer support class people like me, are there going to be like modes of gameplay where we are absolutely crucial to the success of those missions?
Fair enough. Now, I didn't actually have Hearthstone in the show notes when we did them because there really wasn't much Hearthstone news this past week. But Xizta, you found a way to get your favorite card game on the damn show. What is this about Phoenix backs?
So there was this achievement people had discovered hidden in the new Hearthstone update that said something like the secrets of the barons, and it rewarded a card back. And then people saw, the card back was in the like the what was it? This screen here, where, if you go all the way to the end of it, you get ones that you don't have. I have too many card backs. So you get like all these ones at the end here that you don't have. It's like, oh, this one, let me hide. Like this one you get from winning 5 games in June, right? It's clearly not June yet, so I don't have this one. But so the Phoenix card back was listed in this list here, and people were like, what is this? How do you get this? And nobody quite knew. This is the card back, by the way.
It's so pretty.
Solve the mysteries hidden throughout the barons.
Yeah. So it was a little insane. People discovered that on certain classes, there's 4 of them. It is the rogue, the warrior, what was it, hunter and druid, I believe. So you had these crazy secret things to do. Like, for example, on the rogue, you had to play a bunch of cards in a very specific order. You had to play a card called Bamboozle, which is 2 mana, a card Plagiarize, which is 2 mana, a card Yoink, which is 1, Coerce, which is 3, and Potion of Illusion, which is 4. You had to play them all in the same turn. All in the same turn, and you couldn't play anything else.
Okay.
That equals 12 mana. You only get 10 mana per turn, right? So you had to have another card in there, which is the efficient Octobot, right? Which, when it's on the board, it's a 1/4 that costs 2 mana. And then when it gets damaged in any capacity, it just has to survive damage. It reduces the cost of all the cards in your hand by 1. So you had to at least have 2 of those cards in your hand, use the Octobot, reduce the cost, and then when you get to 10 mana. But keep in mind, this is actually not in a live game. This is against the Innkeeper, right? And this got so out of control when people were trying to figure this out that they actually crashed the Innkeeper servers. I had one of my friends pop into Discord while I was doing it and goes, "What are you actually facing the Innkeeper? Who faces the Innkeeper?" And then he looked and he's like, "Why is my whole friends list facing the Innkeeper right now?" He was very, very confused. So I had to explain to him. So after you play these cards in this specific order, in this one turn, you get a green card that is just like triple question mark, right? And then you play that card on your next turn. So you have to not only make it to turn 10 with these specific cards in your hand, you have to survive one more turn to be able to play the card. After that, the board gets wiped. You get a puzzle that was on the board. For the rogue, you had a series of puzzle boxes, and you had 3 keys on your board, and you had to hit each puzzle box a certain amount of times to get the first digit to all equal the same number. I think 4 was the method that most people came to figure out, and that was the one that was widely shared. I don't know if any other number will work. I believe it's just 4, but who knows? So there might be multiple solutions to this particular one. So this one
is an ordeal.
It was absolutely crazy. So the rogue one went pretty fast. The warrior one took the warrior one was the second one I believe that was solved. The warrior one was kind of like, that riddle where you have the chicken, the bag of feed, and like the fox or the
get them
weasel
across
or
the river
whatever.
type deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what it was with quillboars and orcs and stuff like that. You had to basically play that within the game. That one was fairly easy. I solved it myself. That one without a guide in maybe like 7 or 8 attempts. That one wasn't too bad. The druid one was this one was the one that was absolutely insane to me. Let's see if I could pull up a picture.
While you're doing that, curious
This
question.
maze right here, yeah.
The question I have is, do each of these classes have to do the insane card combo just to unlock the puzzle?
Yeah, each one has its own card combo.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Yep. So this one was a little more insane. You have 1 minion and you have 3 doors, right? And the door is either left, middle, or right. And it's not necessarily you're going through the door, but it's more of, think of it, you're turning your character. So you start at this purple box and you got to get all the way to this top corner of this maze. Now, hitting the left minion won't bring you 1 space left. It turns you. So say you're facing the upper wall of the purple
so then
box.
the middle box, the up moves you forward.
You're facing the left wall of the purple box now. So then you have to go through and hit the middle one every time you actually want to advance.
Yeah, so you'd go middle, right, middle, right, middle, left to get through that first sequence of 6 blocks there.
Well, kind of. You'd think. But they made this really obnoxious by making the left door. So your person has 1 damage. The middle door has 99 health. The right door has 999 health. The left door only has 9 health. If you hit that left door too many times, you destroy the door and you break the puzzle.
Oh, okay. So sometimes you might have to rotate to the right 3 times or 4 times to actually turn left. Gotcha.
Correct. So that's what made this puzzle absolutely obnoxious. So most of the sources where people have given the solution and they put it up made it so you don't turn left ever, and they just give you 3 rights every single time.
Nice.
So that one was.
Well, you got it. You got it.
I mean, I didn't get this one. I used their solution because I said to myself, I'm not gonna sit here. Like, look at this. Like, this is insane.
I'm not gonna
map that out myself. Like, I as much as I love puzzles and riddles and stuff like that, no, thank you. I don't have the time for that.
It is insane.
Indy, you're getting attacked.
The final one was this insane trading game where you started out with 10 gold. And you had all these minions on the board, and you would drag the 10 gold to one of the minions on the board, and you would buy something. And so say you got like 10 worn daggers for 10 gold. Then you take those 10 daggers and you give them to somebody else, and they'll give you like 3 healing potions. And like it's this whole bartering game that goes on and on and on. There's 5 steps to it. Each one has like 15 to 25 steps. Like it's absolutely insane. I think I spent an hour on this one alone. It was obnoxious, but it was like at the same time I'm sitting here going, somebody figured this out? Like it was insane.
My question is, somebody actually put this much time into like inventing this secret puzzle thing that I just, it seems like a lot. Like even for one of the most difficult, crazy, insano mounts to get via puzzle, it's nothing this convoluted and complex.
I mean, some of them have.
I love stuff like this. I'm sorry.
Cool.
I love when it's dumped in there with no answers or even hint that it's there.
But this one's so extensive and it goes through so many different characters. It's like, who figures this out? This is insane.
The internet.
It's truly insane.
We did it. And now you can too.
Gonna try it.
It is a cool card back.
I'm definitely gonna try it. Yeah, I love that card back.
It's Kalthos inspired. Like
that's why
the Phoenix,
I love it.
You got the orbs, you know.
That's why I love it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We've been running long, but that's okay because Jason's not streaming today, Chad. He's taking the night off. little tired, so give him a break. He'll be back next Tuesday. But let's slide over and finish today's show with some lore or lies. As always, a special thanks to our resident lore keeper, Lil Missy, who keeps us supplied with all the lore and puts a little bit of fiction in there for you as well. You can follow her at Lil Missy, LILMISSOY 4205, right on Twitter. Now, last week, the lie was actually in my statement, the first statement. Players did not sneak in hiding in a meat wagon. We actually pretended that we were a dead body and we were being taken in for parts. Then players had to dig their way out from a pile of Kyrian bodies. It was pretty gruesome, but it was, I thought, one of the cooler moments in the campaign. So this week, we're going to give you 3 statements, 1 from each of us. 2 are absolutely true. 1 has a falsehood in it. Could be small, could be big. Your job in the comments below, either on YouTube or on ReadyCheckRadio.com, is to give us which was the lie and how. Again, thanks to Lil Missy for helping us with these. So, here we go. A soul barrier blocked the way forward, but one of the stewards was able to salvage a praetor that could pass through. With the barrier disabled, the group discovered the project that was being worked on.
Kyrian flesh was forged into a monstrous construct, but flesh retains its memories from before assembly. Secutor Mevix feels it is only right to take out Sherix, the Fleshcraft, and the first apprentice, Malcrex, before destroying the Kyrian abomination.
The Kyrian construct is difficult to destroy as the Maulwalker, Secutor Mevix, Aspirant Thales, and 3 stewards join in the battle. Just as it's about to be finished off, it runs throughout the House of Constructs, taking out most of the forces.
One of those statements isn't exactly true. Tell us which one and why in the comments below. Remember, the Relic Grind is going to air on Friday over on Mr. Happy's channel. We'll host it here. No show Thursday night. We'll have normal streamers throughout the rest of the week, and then Gaming Gumbo on Saturday will be taking the night off because we're doing the responsible thing and finishing our vaccines. Go get yours. Stop being silly. Go get a vaccine. Until next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern for our next Snowbound. Indy, where can everybody find you?
You guys can find me everywhere at Indy Garona. I use the same name on all social medias and Twitch. I've been trying to go live every day, so definitely come stop in and say hello. And come see Lucy because she needs attention too, clearly.
She definitely does. You are not giving that cat enough attention. What about you, Xizta?
You can find me on Twitch at Xizta, Xizta, where just kind of been streaming on Mondays, Wednesdays, and like Saturdays now, or sometimes Fridays, doing multiplayer stuff while I'm setting up a bunch of other stuff. You could also follow me on Twitter at itsxizta, where last week I said I was tweeting out to Little Missy, do you respond to everything? And she responded back and said, respond to what?
That sounds about right.
She was very confused.
That sounds
I had no
about
idea
right.
what was going on.
That sounds about right. I'm Mike Byrne. You can follow me personally right there at MagicMan1 on Twitter, but more importantly, follow at RC Radio, RAIDEO, so we can tweet at you with all of our lovely volunteers hanging out, streaming games, or any one of our 3 podcasts. Tell your friends, stop on by. Until next time, stay safe, and we'll see you on the servers. Later.